Welcome, my dear students of class 9A and 9B to my history class. Today's points, as I mentioned, Harshavardhana, administration, Yuan Sang, golden age, and starting of the medieval period. First point, Harshavardhana. Who was Harshavardhana? You know, after the disintegration of the Gupta Empire, there was no political power in North India to rule the country. Under such circumstances, a new political leader showed his bravery and took political control over North India. He was Harshavardhana. Harshavardhana, what sort of a ruler Harshavardhana was, we don't have any evidence and any information. But what we come to know about Harshavardhana is from his biography, Harsacharita, written by his courtier or court poet Banbhatta. Besides, Harshavardhana himself wrote 3 plays. Priyodarshika. These 3 plays were Priyodarshika. Another one, Harsha wrote Ratnavali and Nagananda. Priyodarshika, Ratnavali and Nagananda. These were the 3 important plays Harsha himself wrote. So these were the important source of information about the reign of Harsha. Besides, one Chinese traveler came to India during the reign of Harshavardhana. He was Yuan Sang. Yuan Sang also wrote one book, and the name of Yuan Sang book is one of the most important source of information about the reign of Harshavardhana. The book's name is Si Yu Ki. This book was written by Harshavardhana. And from this book we come to know about the reign of Harshavardhana. What sort of a ruler Harshavardhana, what did he do? Each and every part of Harshavardhana's life and achievements we come to know from this information. But the Gupta period, the information about the Guptas we came to know from coins, artifacts, different caves where, many informations were inscribed on the wall like Ajanta cave and so on. But in the case of Harshavardhana, we come to know about the history of Harshavardhana only from his biography, Harsacharita, which was written by his court poet Banbhatta, and the book Si Yu Ki by Yuan Sang, and some important, plays Harsha himself wrote, some ideas, what was about the contemporary society and its people, just we come to know by reading these plays of Harshavardhana. Harshavardhana belonged to Vardhana clan. After the death of his father, Harshavardhana's elder brother decided to strengthen the power of the Maukhoris, because the Maukhoris queen was their sister. Maukhoris queen was the sister of Rajyavardhana and Harshavardhana. So in order to protect the interest of the Maukhari state, Rajyavardhana went to protect them from their enemies, but Rajyavardhana was killed. As soon as Rajyavardhana was killed, their sister's husband also was killed by his enemies. Since Rajyavardhana was killed, and Harsha's widowed sister was under the hands of the enemies of Maukuri dynasty, Harsha decided to rescue his widowed sister, who was going to commit sati. Harsha reached there with many soldiers and defeated the enemies of the Maukuris easily and rescued his widowed sister from being committed suicide. And ultimately, Harsha established his political superiority by, establishing his political power over the enemies of the Maukuri dynasty. Harsha ruled for about 41 years from his capital Kannauj. He established a strong empire in North India, extended from Punjab, Kashmir, and Nepal in the north, and another portion means another one to the river Narmada in the south, and Kannauj had become a cultural center of them. Kannauj was located beside the river, beside the Gangetic plain. That's why its agricultural lands were very fertile. Peasants and farmers were very happy. They produced bulk quantities of crops from there and earned a lot of money and paid taxes to Harsha. Harsha was a popular ruler. The amount of taxes and revenues, whatever collected from the peasants and farmers, these were also spent for the all-round development of the country during the period of Harshavardhana. 1/4 was spent on public services, 1/4 to reward the scholars and the saints, and 1/4 for holy men, and 1/4 of the income from revenue was spent on government. So these were the system of expenditure. The amount of money, whatever they paid as taxes and revenues, Harsha did not deposit it Harsha did not deposit its lion's shares in the royal treasury of the state, but he also spent the amount of money for the welfare of the state, for the welfare of soldiers, for the welfare of land, and for the welfare of agriculture. And as a result, Harsha became a very popular ruler during his period. But one mistake Harshavardhana himself committed, that was declaring war. He declared war against the Deccan. Although he heard the name of Pulokeshin II of Deccan, that he was a very powerful ruler, he might defeat him, but Harsha took a risk. Ultimately, he declared war on Deccan, and the ruler of Deccan, Pulokeshin II, accepted the challenge of Harshavardhana. Both of them met in the battle, but Harshavardhana was defeated by Pulokeshin II. Harshavardhana was defeated by Pulokeshin II. Pulokeshin II, he attempted in the year Harshavardhana was defeated by Pulokeshin II in the year 620 CE. And after the death of Harsha, North India, which was under control of Harsha, and law and order was established strongly. There was peace, solidarity in the area. After the death of Harshavardhana, it was plunged into anarchy. According to Huan Sang, Harshavardhana established a good administrative system, and some of the important examples he followed from the Gupta administration. Land grants to priests became more and more common during the reign of Harshavardhana. As a result, Harshavardhana introduced a feudal system of administration. In the year 629 CE, Chinese pilgrim Huan Sang came to India and stayed at Harsha's court for some years. And he wrote the famous book Si U Ki. In this famous book, he left the detailed information about the reign of Harshavardhana and his administration. Harshavardhana, according to Huan Sang, Harshavardhana maintained a very strong army throughout. Strong army. As a result, his empire had become very powerful during his reign. The nobles and priests led a very luxurious life during the time of Harshavardhana. People were honest, and mostly people wore unstitched garments and walked barefoot. Onion and garlic were rarely used. Education was highly patronized. A number of educational institutions and educational centers also were established by Harshavardhana. The places were Taxila, Ujjain, Gaya, Nalanda. Huan Sang mentions that Harsha organized a special assembly in Buddhist monks. A number of saints came to attend the assembly, but that assembly belonged to Mahayana Buddhism because Ashoka was impressed by the ideals of Buddhism. And the most important center of Buddhism, the educational center Nalanda University, was flourished after the Guptas by Harshavardhana. And next point, Golden Age. What is Golden Age? It is called, the Gupta age is called the Golden Age. Why? Because a number of distinguished kings were born during Gupta period. They were Chandragupta I, Samudragupta, Chandragupta II, Kumaragupta I, Skandagupta. They all dedicated their lives for the welfare of state. They all dedicated their lives for the extension of their territories. They dedicated their lives for the cause of human's development in the field of education, in the field of science, in the field of literature, in the field of religion, and of course in the field of charity, means religious practices. The Guptas, they dedicated their lives for the satisfaction of this group of people. Besides, the Gupta kings extended their empire by declaring wars against their enemies, and some enemies, after being defeated by the Guptas, accepted the superiority of them. In the case of Samudragupta, that incident took place. And another one, Chandragupta II, there were 9 gems in the court of Chandragupta II. Someone was painter, someone was architect, someone was scientist, someone was a poet, someone was writer. They all sacrificed their lives, they all dedicated their lives for the upliftment of the state under Chandragupta II. Chandragupta II was not only a benevolent king, but also he became famous for his fair justice, for his fair play of justice. That's why Chandragupta II's reign and his life had become famous in Indian history. Up to this, my dear student, last point is left, that is medieval age. At the end of the rule of Harshavardhana, after the death of Harshavardhana, there was none to establish control over North India. North India had become a center without any ruler. There was none to establish their political control over there. No king was there, no local chieftain was there, no local ruler was there after the death of Harshavardhana. Meanwhile, from west, the Muslims reached India and introduced the religious concept Islam. This new age came to be known as medieval age. From the medieval age, the rule of the Muslims started in India. Next day, a new lesson will be introduced. Up to this, my dear students, thank you.